Hello everybody! Welcome back to Generation Jumble! Now, we're back with round 3, and as you can tell, things have already changed dramatically. Now already, when it comes to just going from round 1 to round 2, you were already able to see a lot of changes. And now we have... Okay, where do we even start? I guess we'll start with Starmie surpassing Tauros. I don't think anyone's expecting that to happen. But yeah, Tauros is no longer the king of Gen 1 OU. Now granted, both Starmie and Tauros have a pretty nice usage rate, but Starmie's win rate is just a decent bit higher. But to be honest, can't really blame Tauros. It's being used on every single team, and it's having to carry so much. But then again, so is Starmie, literally being used the exact same amount, but like getting more results. I don't know. We have Delphox still being as good as usual, but it went from first to second to third. A bit of a fall from grace, but you know, it's not that bad. It's still pretty good. There's not much I can really say. Same thing with Chansey. Even though Chansey has fallen off, it's still an A-ranked Pokemon, and it's probably going to stay in 4th place till the end of time. Although if it did surpass Delphox, I would not be surprised. Jolteon is risen even further up, now being at 5th place with a 66% win rate. Not bad. Not bad at all. The reasons why it's doing good, well, for starters, with Starmie being better than ever, obviously you're going to want to use Jolteon more. It outspeeds Starmie, it's a huge threat to it. And overall, just not much has actually changed with Jolteon. It's just thriving with the meta that we have here. With things like Starmie getting better, that makes Jolteon better by default. With Chansey not being as omnipresent, that, again, just helps Jolteon out considerably. Now, Corviknight has been falling off a lot, now only having a 34% usage rate. And Grimmsnarl has been doing a little bit better. It surpassed... Yeah, it got better than Gliscor. I was trying to remember, but yeah, with the other rounds, Gliscor was in fact better. And it's not that Gliscor is gotten worse, but I do like seeing that Grimmsnarl has gotten a lot better with that win rate. It went from like 12% and now it's 44%. That's a lot better. And overall, this is just part of like the tournament where everyone's starting to figure out how all these Pokemon work. You're really starting to understand, like, understand the meta more and avoid more rookie mistakes. So obviously, everything is just getting a little bit better. And some things, like, will rise and some things will fall. So Gliscor, for example, fell off a little bit, but that's mostly because people have just found better ways to really counter it. But still, with a win rate of 50%, that's pretty good. Alakazam, who was only in the first usage, or first in the top 10 for the round 1, and fell for round 2, is back again here at 50%. Not bad. Oh boy. So Zapdos. How do I say this? It's still a good Pokemon, but my god, people are struggling to find ways to use it correctly. Zapdos has been taking L after L. Jolteon's been so much better, and it's kinda hilarious. But don't let this fool you. Keep in mind, it's still over here above things like Skeletors, Hydrapple, Swoobat, Executor, Cloyster, Snorlax. It's still a good Pokemon, it just needs someone to really show its strength. And now here's someone that hasn't appeared in the other 2 top 10s, and that's Rhydon. Even though Rhydon, at first glance, may look like it's an inferior version to Gliscor, since it does beat Jolteon way harder. But that's not saying too much. Double Kick does do decent chip to Rhydon, but you're still forcing Jolteon to switch out. But with both Jolteon being much better and Zapdos being as good as ever, but is it really any surprise that Rhydon was going to be here? He didn't do anything in Season 3 with all the grass and water types, but he is back and he is here with a vengeance. And I do not see his usage falling anytime soon. In fact, I would not be surprised if he started rising up the ranks more. Would even be surprised if he was gonna end up being better than Gliscor at the end of the day. I know it loses the Corviknight harder, but at the same time, I don't think Corviknight is a deciding factor for both Gliscor and Rhydon. Gliscor can set up with Sword Stance against Corviknight, but then it's using Rock Slide. So I feel like you're just better off with, or neither one of them are better off when I think about it. But yeah. But that's Rhydon, he's doing a lot better. That's pretty good. And Jinx is just here vibing like it was last time. It's still just nice. And with things like Rhydon rising up, same with Zapdos, and Gliscor still being pretty good, it just does a lot better. It also really helps with Starmie being as good as it is, since even though it struggles more as a lead because of Delphox, that is certainly not the case with lead Starmie. Yes, Starmie is usually the best sweep sack in the game, but with Starmie rising to the top, I'm not sure that's the case anymore. Starmie might just be too valuable just to fall. So that's it for the actual changes to the usage. So far, it's honestly some pretty good changes. Snorlax, even with Zastui carrying it, was not enough to stay in the top 10, but it's still something you need to consider, along with the other Pokemon. Now, last time, I completely forgot to show the statements that Plausible and Cyber DJ had, my last two council members. So, I will make up for that by reading what they said about the season this time. And along with those two, I also have a statement from Moscato. Yeah. So we're gonna start here with Cyber DJ. So I asked Cyber DJ just in DMs just to explain like their thoughts. So let's read this together, shall we? Cracks knuckles. Season 4 was actually an oddity for me this time around. It's a season that I thought had the least going for it, and the one that had the least effort put into it due to it being rushed. For those of you who don't know, we were setting up for a Hoenn takeover, which was going to be our first Ubers format, but then it was Moscato, and just for context, this happened like in September, was saying, by the way, is there going to be a Halloween season? And we had a Halloween season planned already. We had the roster mostly finalized and everything, but we realized, oh wait, it's mid-September, we haven't even started working on things. So it was very rushed, and there was me worrying that we were going to be late, but it ended up being fine. But let's just get back onto this. I was expecting the season to fumble, but quite the opposite happened. It ended up being a format with a surprisingly good amount of options, despite the Kanto community picking some truly weird choices. Despite the format being the one with the most sporadic picks in Season 1, it had the biggest meta shakeup by far, which definitely surprised me, and a few others. This is also the season with quite a few fun bonuses, such as usage stats, a new participant, hi Ibuki, a returning phase, I don't feel bad for beating you AJ, and a lot of meta shakeups. For Jolteon and Corviknight making their mark since day 1, the Gliscor's huge comeback, and even the rise of Jolteon. Again, if you don't remember, Gliscor was technically in Season 1, but I'm pretty sure it surpassed both Skarmory and Heracross and even Smeargle for the most forgettable Pokemon. Yeah, I think it was just the most forgettable Pokemon we added. Unfortunate, but let's get back to it. Overall, the meta was an interesting change of pace, but whether or not it has merit to a revisit, I'm not sure on. My biggest complaint to do is that the Pokemon selection had a lot of great picks that had merit, save for Runerigus. I always appreciate it when a format has a solid selection of pokes to mix and match and give it more diversity. I'd say the season is miles ahead of Season 3, and maybe above Season 2. I don't hate it as much as others. No, Amnesia spam makes it not as bad. Looking forward to help tier future seasons, and to create a spectacle while I'm at it. Sincerely, Cyber DJ, the strongest jumbler next to, yours truly, the Groundback. He didn't write that on there, but I can tell from his body language he wanted me to remind you all that I am a better Pokemon trainer than he is. So thank you, Cyber. And I agree with a lot of that. I definitely was not expecting as much of a meta shakeup as there was. And it had to do with just the specific Pokemon added. If it was just Corviknight, then it would just dominate, but a lot of people probably would have seen that coming. If it was just Delphox, you would have seen the new best Psychic type around. If it was just anything else, like, we'd probably see it. But I think just the fact that we added such weird Pokemon that don't have as much rhyme or reason as like the Season 2 or 3, I definitely think we got super lucky, and we had something that changed Gen 1 significantly, but we had things that had answers for both old and new Pokemon. Jolteon does so much better against Corviknight than Snorlax ever could, and Delphox also does that, and both of these Pokemon are fast special attackers that are significantly different from each other. And that's just how it is for the entire season. So overall, I'm surprised, but it's really good. Now let's see what Plausible has to say. Alright. Now this should be fun. As a whole, Season 4 has been a pretty solid season so far. The meta has been defined by more aggressive play, especially with status effects and stat-dropping moves. The high usage of faster choices demonstrates the trend very solidly too. Delphox is one of the best new choices exactly because of this. Traditionally, good choices like Starmie and Alakazam have benefited greatly from this, but for the perception's rise of Jolteon is the greatest indicator of the trend. Jolteon went from barely OU, C1 official rankings, to solid A tier by community consensus. It should be said, not all Sword Pokemon have been equally affected. Slowbro is arguably better off given the decreased presence of Explosion and its checks remaining the same. Chansey and Rhydon have faltered compared to the normal placements, but are definitely still viable in OU. The most dramatic declines are Exeggutor, Cloyster, and Snorlax. We will inevitably discuss their respective falls from grace in the the VR rating. I cannot speak right now. The viability rankings. There, I did it. I'm good at speaking English. But Eggy and Koi have been regarded as possibly falling out of OU. Snorlax has much more room to fall considering it's normally S tier, but likely a B tier is definitely a tumble. This season has fulfilled expectations and surprised me too. Corviknight being one of the best choices, given its typing and good stat distribution, wasn't surprising. Grimmsnarl, Mimikyu, Gliscor performing as well as they have wasn't surprising either. Swoobat and Runerigus being fringe choices was also expected. I anticipated that Delphox would be good, but I didn't expect it capable of competing with Alakazam and Starmie for usage. I had hoped that Hydrapple and Skeledirge could do more in this meta, but they seem like underused choices with occasional OU use. Gourgeist was the most surprising. I expected it to be fairly garbage, as did most people. However, it has proven to be a potential OU staple in this environment. The meta is unique enough that even choices like Lapras, Hypno, and Almastar are viable. I think we'll see some new strategies as we reach the tournament's conclusion, but I can see Season 4 being revisited in the future. It may not have the popularity of other seasons, but it's definitely the most balanced format that I've gotten to play in. Some things I probably would disagree with. I don't think Rhydon is right. I guess like at the beginning you could say that Rhydon's been falling off a bit, but at least from what I see from the usage ratings around 3, Rhydon is just going back on the rise. And with Jolteon and to a lesser extent Zapdos still being like, everywhere, I think that just in turns make Rhydon better than it would be in regular. Or then again, I guess Starmie is almost always using Surf now. Okay, no, I can say that. The other thing I kind of disagree with is Season 4 not being one of the more popular ones, which isn't saying much since there's only 4 seasons, but I'm pretty sure this probably will be one of the most popular, if not the most popular after this. We haven't really had a season that can compete with Season 1's popularity, which people thought it was Season 3, but then after Season 3 was over, people were like, oh wait, this is kind of garbage. I'm not one of those people personally. I still like Season 3, but I can definitely understand it. But overall, most of this I do agree with, so thank you, Pause. Last but not least, we have Roscato. And he even made us a tier list, which we will look at in a little bit. Now, for those of you who don't know, Roscato, he's not a council member, but he is one of the most prominent members alongside Zashali, and I guess we can count Shelly and some others. But yeah, this should be interesting. Let's do it. For the 3 seasons I've played so far, Season 4 so far seems to be the best one overall in terms of what actually goes into a season. A tighter ship is being run in Season 2, and the meta is more balanced in Season 3, leading to perhaps the best paced tournament while having a meta ship just noticeable enough to not require any outside intervention, yet still feels grounded in the mechanics and the base meta of vanilla RBY. Even if it means the Hoenn Takeover had to be pushed until a later date, I'd say Season 4 is my favorite Jumble metagame, based on how well thought out the additions were, from both a thematic and a gameplay perspective. That is something I would like to get into right now. The main issue I had with Summertime Oven is very obvious to those who know me. Oh well, here we go. And that's Gastrodon. Imagine Slowbro, but it dropped the Psychic type for Ground type, thus making it immune to paralysis, and it had recovered. Palisand also felt a bit restrictive on team building at times, but Gastrodon, especially with what forced me to run Surf with Starmie, more than I was comfortable with using in the metagame with 4 new grass types. Had I not run Surf against Paws in round 1, I likely would have lost the game, and even then my win condition was to crit twice in a row. That's how miserable Gastrodon felt to me. At least Vanilluxe was nice. Random Vanilluxe shoutout, I guess. Thankfully, the meta of Season 4 feels way more dynamic, and I couldn't be any happier. While certain meta staples have fallen off, the majority are still dancing with the new additions, each of which I'd like to give my quick thoughts on. Corviknight, no doubt the most meta-warping mon in the format, but by no means overpowered. Delphox, definitely the 2nd place winner of the Jumbo Lottery this season thanks to Hypnosis, good coverage, and Fire Spin. Grimmsnarl, a paralysis spreader that even Chansey has to respect. Thus, it has pretty decent coverage and Thunder Punch and Ice Punch if needed. Mimikyu, one of 2 mons with Fairy type stab, the other being Grimmsnarl, can also paralyze, but also has Sword Stance into Thunderbolt. Gliscor, another Sword Stancer, this time walling Jolteon and Zapdos. Quake Slide is very strong, and Substitute helps out a lot. Gourgeist, surprisingly good despite its setbacks. Razor Wave and Explosion are fantastic moves to have, plus coverage in the Corv and Gengar. Swoobat, nice lead. It can be good as a disruptor due to Thunder Wave and Super Fang. Skeleturge, very hard to get in, but Torch Song can easily ramp up and deal insane damage. Hydrapple, nice Jolteon check, but we're always screwed over by Blizzard and Drill Peck. No one wants an apple on Halloween. Okay, but a caramel apple, maybe. I will disagree with you on that. Runerigus, living proof that Amnesia is not a win button, but it's alright. Okay, that's pretty good. While I prefer the meta of Season 2, I will admit it still required Sneasel to get stripped of Dire Claw for it to be properly balanced, plus there were some other minor issues all around. Here you've got what feels like in my second favorite Jumbo while having the best management of the 4. Well, and I'm glad I participated in the tournament while still being in the running. Before you close off, here's an image showing how much of the 14 OU mons were buffed and nerfed based on the meta around them. Still, it should be called Jumboween. I did not consider that, but that's actually true. It probably should have been Jumboween. Okay, in terms of buffs, Jolteon is obvious. I'm kind of surprised. Like, you have Gengar and Jinx? Was Jinx slightly buffed in this meta? I don't know. And I hope to hear the reasons for Gengar as well. Tauros, Chansey, Starmie, Alakazam, Slowbro basically the same. For Starwax, Zapdos, and Rhydon slightly nerfed. And then obviously, like, for Eggy and Cloyster, it's nerfed. And I like how he didn't even bring up Victory Bell. That just kind of shows right there, like, how much he fumbled. Yes, this is good. This is good, Moscato. That was pretty nice. And you brought up Pokemon that I haven't brought up because I just didn't know what else to really talk about when it comes to things like Renoragus and Skeleturge. Instead of me going on a rant and showing you the team builder, I think this is good enough. I think this one statement can explain to you the entire thing about Renoragus in Generation Jumble Season 4. So yeah. Now, I think next time, I'm pretty sure next time will most likely be the video where I will be facing Zastui in Winner's Bracket. But despite that, I'm still going to try to get at least 2 more statements out. 100% when I face Zastui, I'll have Zastui herself talk about her thoughts on the Jumble. And I know for a fact that she has some opinions. And I'll try to get Ibuki, because she's new, and I'm interested to see what Ibuki has to say. But for now, let's get on to these replays. Now, these next 5 replays you're going to see are technically not a part of the Jumble, but they are a bit of a bonus. Yesterday, if you saw the round 2 video, you saw Shelly and Zack and Thea's cooking, but both had really bad RNG. So here we have a fight between them. Now, despite me telling them, don't do anything silly, only use serious Pokemon, they decided that they were going to be silly. So we're going to have 3 replays with them doing God knows what. I haven't watched any of these. And 2 where they're going to be doing just a normal team, for what I understand. This is going to be a disaster, but let's just get it on, alright? Alright, we have Gourgeist, the small version, and we have Shelly going for Jinx. Gourgeist going for Substitute. Haven't seen that, but interesting. Going for Explosion. The crit probably mattered. And now we have Starmie, and we have Grimmsnarl. Interesting. Going straight for a Blizzard, while Starmie gets paralyzed. I guess you were trying to go for a Freeze there, but it didn't work out for you. You go for another Blizzard, not doing much after being hit with the Spirit Break. You go on the Gliscor. With your high defense and not caring about your special being dropped, you're pretty fine here. You're not scared of Thunder Wave either, but you definitely are scared of Ice Punch. In the Delph Box you go. Grimmsnarl gets put to sleep, and Grimmsnarl is just not waking up. And now we have Chansey. Mystical Fire is kind of annoying, but also not the biggest deal in the world. But here, giving a free switch-in into Chansey is pretty good. Mimikyu takes that Thunderbolt way better than I would have thought. Both do a third to each other, actually. Yeah, but that's a crit. You can't do much there. In the Chansey you go, there's a Mystical Fire. Chansey is a little bit annoyed by that. You go in the Grimmsnarl, and they just switched already, which I kind of respect. Also, I like the nickname Oni. It's pretty good. But now Jolteon has a special lowered, so it's not hitting as hard. But even with a special attack drop, 25% is pretty good. I'm just impressed. Jolteon hits way harder than I thought. Now going in the Gliscor where Grimmsnarl has Reflect. Interesting. You go in the Delph Box, you go for Fire Spin, you actually trap it. Very risky, but so far, Zack and Theus has just been the go at hitting every single one of those Fire Spins. Good for him. And now, they go back into Chansey, you hit another Fire Spin. And you don't have too many options left if you're Zack and Theus here. What exactly do you do? There's Gliscor, but luckily you managed to wake up. Earthquake does decent damage, you go for Reflect. And I'm pretty sure... But yeah, Ice Punch, it's definitely gonna kill. I was kind of wondering why Shelly was staying in. There's Thunderbolt, does not get the kill, but does get the paralysis, and... Oh no. Oh... Yeah, I forgot to mention, I recommended these two battling to see which one has the worst RNG, so... Yeah, so like, we might have our answer. I don't even know if that mattered or not, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm pretty sure Hyper Beam could have killed? Or is that barely not against the damage range? I don't remember. What I do know is that Shelly won that game, and... Wait, I just saw the name. Wait, what was the name? Oni... Dracula... Oh. Oh, okay. I'm just going to ignore that. Now let's see what this other game has. We have Lead Delphox or Lead Hypno. Both of them using Hypnosis is very funny, and Zack and Thea decided to let their oh god. If that was Gen 3, they would be boned. But their Squiscore tanking, or not even need a tank, it just handles the trio perfectly. It hits an Earthquake, doesn't really do that much, while Blizzard is definitely more than enough to kill. You go into Hypno. Hypno gets paralyzed. You do hit Hypnosis though, so that's pretty nice. You go back into the trio. I'm not sure if this is gonna work out for you. Okay, never mind. Never mind, you're good. Holy crap. Oh, it didn't kill. Okay. You don't really care about that special drop when you only have like 8% left. There's Swoobat. You're faster than Swoobat, which I guess I should have seen coming. Second, these assumed they were going to switch, so they're trying to go for an Amnesia. Hitting a Heart Stamp, which I don't even remember what type that is. Thunderbolt is enough to kill even with the Amnesia. There's Skeleturge. And with Skeleturge, there is a chance that it can win. Skeleturge knows Earthquake? I actually didn't know that. Unfortunately, even though Torch Song boosts the special attack, it does not boost the special defense. So Delphox here had no problem just overpowering Skeleturge. And now we have the enemy Delphox. You do get a special drop, but they get a special attack drop. So neither one of these had a better advantage, but yeah, I think Shelly is right switching to Starmie. You could probably get some free, or I mean Zacathias, yeah. Oh my god. Not only did I mistake Zacathias as Jolteon, but now he just got crit again. I am so sorry. This is truly a fate worse than death. But you know what? I was mostly kind of joking, but I do actually really like that both these guys went through the... you know what? I am the unluckiest one. Fire. Good game. My one and... Oh. Wait, what the hell? I'm not your friend, Shelly? This is BS. Well, those were the real games. I guess we're gonna check out what else they were cooking. Oh boy. Oh dear god. Oh no, 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 I don't want to watch this. What am I oh no, what am I looking at? And it's called Horseback. Oh my goodness gracious. I can't, how do I even comment on this? I guess we have lead Vileplume, and there was somehow Shelly predicted that and has lead Rapidash, hitting a Fire Blast, getting a crit, killing Vileplume. Does that crit matter? I have no idea. I don't know anything about Vileplume. Do you? I seriously doubt it. Well, Shelly gets to switch in the Gyarados. You go on the Blastoise, which should be able to take care of this Gyarados pretty easily. Never mind, it has Thunderbolt. I forgot it has Thunderbolt. I'm an idiot. And I'm just gonna completely ignore that nickname. Just... Someone just end... Oh my... What am I looking at? This is... Okay, I knew it... Okay. I gave these guys one job. I said don't use a silly team. And what the frick is this? I'm very disappointed in these two right now. And the fact that Heart Stamp hits makes me think it's probably a Psychic move. Still, like, Super Fang works, even though it's a Ghost type. That's pretty cool. Heart Stamp, you were trying to get a crit, but it didn't happen. Will you get it now? No, you just go for Super Fang. Interesting choice, considering I think it was pretty obvious that Brownback apparently was going to go for Rest. This team is too meta, I'm afraid. You shut your pie hole, Shelly. This is... Oh, Toxic! Okay, that's kind of neat. Kind of crazy how even with Max Special, Psychic only did half. Going for Solar Beam. You know what? Above all else, I think I can respect that. Skeleturge gets taken out, and apparently, like, the power of ground back with so much that his team got swept. I don't know who Shockback is. I think that's an imposter. But that was the first game, and I'm very... I wasn't expecting such powerful mons. My next team will blow you away. My next team is even stronger! I must use my full strength against my best friendo. Which is weird because he's not battling me. Okay, let's see what this is. Lead Electabuzz versus Batman's... What are these nicknames? This is... I don't get this at all. I'm so confused. But now we have Hydrapple. And yeah, sure I would use Beedrill. Predicting the Syrup Bomb. So now you quad resist it. Pickle Beam hits really hard. But now you're fast. Like really fast. But it doesn't really work because of... Oh, that did nothing. Well, oh, everyone put 07 for Beedrill. But now we have Duckback, who kills Hydrapple pretty easily. Go in the Hitmonchan and not Electabuzz, which is interesting. You set up that speed, but you immediately go into Poliwhirl. You miss a Sing. The Poliwhirl goes for Amnesia. You're asleep, but do you care? Do you really care? It really doesn't look like you care that much about it. Poliwhirl is probably... Okay, not with a crit. With a crit, it's going to hit really hard. Yeah, but now Poliwhirl wakes up. That's good. It definitely needed that. And now, do you go for Surf? Yes, you do. It does not kill because it's a freaking Poliwhirl. What were you expecting? But in the Hitmonchan you go. I'm surprised Ice Punch actually killed. But there's Trio, getting a critical Earthquake, not enough to kill. You go for Agility, you're probably going for Ice Punch. They predict that. You go in the Golduck or Duckback apparently. There's Thunder Punch, not hitting hard either. But they go for Amnesia. You're trying to fish for a crit, but at the very least you do get a Paralysis, so that's pretty nice. You go into Punkaboo. You turn Golbat into a Ghost type. Oh god. They went for Rest, but I don't think it's a good idea, because now you're free to go for Razor Wave. And Razor Wave should be good enough to kill Golduck here, as you can see. Wait, why didn't that... Oh wait, it's because... Yeah, Punkaboo isn't fast enough to get guaranteed crits. Okay. I was confused for a second. Going for Explosion, and not doing that much. You go on the Magmar. Going for Psychic. You get hit with a Fickle Beam, it hits really hard. Going for Fire Blast, and you get the crit. But with Dustock Trio, I'm pretty sure you're kind of boned? I don't know how you get out of this. They're Psychic, not getting a crit, unfortunately. And ignore Shelly saying absolute Ohio brother, that's just cringe and stinky and stupid. Swoobot's not having a good time, but it's also got 2 Amnesias up, so it's probably going to take care of this Electabuzz very easily. Even paralyzing it for good measure. Good job. Good job, that was needed. And that other Amnesia, also just really needed. It definitely wasn't a waste. There's Duck Trio. You go for Substitute? Okay. And you go for Slash. Slash me, I dare you. Oh, but Zagnathias went for the counter. You know what? There's no way Shelly could have seen that coming. That was a very good meta read on Zagnathias, knowing that Shelly was going to go for that Slash. So good job. It's definitely not that Shelly has no impulse control and can't deny a dare, such as what Zagnathias did. So let's see this all-important Game 3. We have Weezing versus Rattata. And fucking Rattata is not only faster, but forced out Explosion. And because of Reflect, apparently Eevee... This... What am I looking at here? I don't even think I need to commentate on this. I think you guys should just sit back and enjoy the show. Pin Missile... I don't even know if that's doing more than I thought, or if I should be disappointed. Like, that was a Sword Stance and like 4 Pin Missiles, and that did half of Sandshrews' health. Who's the real winner here? I guess Sandshrew, since it killed a Poison Sting, There's Golbat, the 7U meta threat. You go into Spearow. You hit a double edge, which doesn't even do half health. Good job, Spearow. You were just very cool on my Golbat. There's your stab double edge. Not doing that much either. In fact, I put you in a damage range. So Spearow is kind of a fucking idiot. There's Golbat. Luckily, Magnemite is not a steel type in this gen. You go for Reflect. Okay, I was wondering why you paralyzed it, but now it makes sense. You're trying to set up for whatever the last Pokemon is, but also you're at half health, and it's far-fetched. Slash is enough to kill, so now it just depends on what the last Pokemon is, and it's Execute. But Zacantheus went for Explosion, but it wasn't enough. That was... Yeah, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I got dumber watching that set. I knew they were gonna use silly things, but I didn't think they'd be that silly. That last game didn't even have any Generation Jumble Pokemon. What was the point of this? Oh well. Let's just get on to the actual matches. And unfortunately, there's like... Yeah, like, that was like almost half of the replays. So I apologize. Let's make it up by having two good people play against each other. At least I'm assuming they're good. We have Master Gemstone versus Ashley. Both of these two have exceeded expectations and have done a lot better than they've done in other seasons. But how good are we talking? Only one way to find out. We have Lead Starmie versus Lead Delphox. Most people don't lead with the clutch factor, but you do get a crit immediately off the bag, so maybe there's some merit to this. There goes Chansey getting paralyzed. You're trying to fish for those freezes, but it looks like you haven't gotten it yet. You go in the Corviknight, tanks Ice Beam pretty well. You switch in the Jolteon, they go for a Light Screen. Do you stay in? You do, and you don't get crit. I can respect it. You go for Body Slam, and unfortunately, no paralysis. But you go for Rest. You stay in though. Okay, you're still not getting crit, but you are kind of like tempting fate. There's the crit though. It was gonna happen eventually. You go back into Delphox. You go for Thunderbolt, not even Thunder Wave, which is surprising. Going for another Thunderbolt, and now you're put to sleep. Sparky is in a bad position, but you go into Snorlax. I guess they were predicting a Starmie switch in, so you end up being pretty fine there. But Fire Blast hurts a lot, but Body Slam will kill. Now it's Alakazam. You switch into Chansey. Chansey can do basically normal Chansey things here, and with Psychic it's gonna be a lot harder, but you know, we're all Gen 1 players, so we're used to this. Snorlax switches in safely, which definitely wasn't guaranteed, but good for it. But Mimikyu gets just as safe as switching. Mimikyu goes for Swords Dance, but here's Victory Bell. Getting hit with a critical Hyper Beam, not enough. Mimikyu is now put to sleep. In comes Chansey, you go on the Jolteon. Jolteon does not wake up in time, unfortunately. You stay in. They went for Body Slam, hitting a crit. So I guess you were right not to second in anything. There's Tauros going for Fire Blast, fishing for that burn, sadly not getting it. They switch into Chansey, fearing the burn. You hit Fire Blast, don't get the burn on Chansey. You go into your own Chansey, which can handle their Chansey pretty well. They're forced to switch out, and they go into Alakazam. You get a free Soft Boiled. You go into Snorlax, which is risky, but once again, you never go punished. Body Slam does half of Alakazam's health. It is taken out, but it does not matter. Your Tauros as a Queen switch in. Body Slam kills. You go into Mimikyu, but Mimikyu is asleep. There's Blizzard, not doing that much, and Mimikyu unfortunately wakes up. You go for Fire Blast trying to burn it, but it does not work out unfortunately, and you're now paralyzed. Play Rough doesn't do that much. You hit another Fire Blast, getting a crit, but it's not enough to kill, nor do you get the burn. Hyper Beam does not kill either, but you're fully paralyzed. But Mimikyu needs to recharge. You go for Blizzard, it gets the crit, it definitely mattered. They go into their own Tauros, but to be fair, you do have your entire team. It's not my chance it's going to be a super serious offensive threat. There's Surf, you get another crit on it, just doing pretty decent damage here. There is Chansey, and I feel like Zashley has this. Also, now that I'm looking at her team, it's literally just RBY. There's not any new Pokemon. Oh yeah, also Chansey got frozen. That's a bit of a big deal, I would say. Sorry, Gemstone, but if it makes you feel any better, you were kind of boned either way. Because no matter what, Zashtoi's Chansey could just sit there and waste Gemstone's Chansey's resources. So it was solely just a checkmate situation. They did not get the crit on the Hyper Beam, unfortunately, and they go into victory mode for that Razor Wave ship. The crit mattered there, probably. And the crit there probably mattered too. There we go, it's actually won the game. That was definitely something. But to be honest, compared to the other matches I just saw, this is fine. Now here's where things get interesting. Sotina versus Groundback. That's me! Considering Sotina won Season 3 of Generation Jumble, and she won it when she was facing against me in Grand Finals, I was honestly kinda nervous for this. Because once again, I was not doing research on these matches. I really wasn't know what I was going up against. So I decided to face her, and how did I do? Let's find out together. Or not really, I already know how this went because they were my matches. We have Wheat Jinx with Wheat Alakazam. I went for Alakazam because I just wanted something that's both faster than Starmie and Delphox, while also not being the worst thing in the world against Jinx. So that's why I decided to go for Alakazam there. Unlike in other seasons, like Season 2 or 3, I don't prioritize Zam speed that much. So I was fine with it being paralyzed. And just having paralyzed Chansey and Fish for special drops. I think that was good enough. And I'm not I don't care too much here. Psychic, with no special drops just yet. There's another one. Do I get it? No, I don't. But they just go for Thunderbolt. I tank that easily. But I'm not able to move there, which is unfortunate. I recover off the damage. And I'm not sure why they're staying in. I guess Zam is just too annoying and too much of a threat for anything else. Even for Jinx here. Which is good for me, because I'd prefer to wear this Chansey's resources down. I go on the Rhydon since I know they're probably going for Thunderbolt. They go into Hydrapple, I get Earthquake in, getting some decent damage. I'll go back into Alakazam, they hit Syrup Bomb. Zam is now slower, but does it really matter? Not really, it's already paralyzed. They switch into Chansey, I just go back to what I was doing beforehand. They go for Ice Beam trying to protect Rhydon, but I have no problem just staying in and fishing for that special drop. And now I go for, I think it's Recover. Yes, it is Recover. You have Jinx, but I don't care about Jinx either. Go for Seismic Toss, getting free chip damage in. I switch in the Grimmsnarls, they go for Rest. I predicted they're probably going to go for Rest. They go into Starmie, I had a Spirit Break, which lowers their special attack. Not bad. I'll go back to Alakazam, who deals with Starmie even better than it would normally because it is weaker on the special side. I go for Seismic Toss because, as you can see here, I am starting to get low on Psychics, and I prefer to save them for special drops. I'll go back in the Rhydon predicting a Soft Boiled. They go in the Hydrapple. I try to go for a Leer so that maybe Corviknight can hit a lot harder, or for something else. They're probably going to switch, but I decided just to keep doing that. I go for a Drill Peck, and obviously Jolteon is a big threat, but I have Rhydon, so I have no problem here. Rhydon switches in. They go back into Hydrapple. I go for Body Slam, trying to fish for Paralysis. I don't get it, unfortunately, but luckily Corviknight handles Hydrapple very, 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 very easily. Back in the Jolteon they go. I go for Drill Peck, because I'm pretty sure I don't actually have Body Slam on that set. I'll go back in the Rhydon, but I feel very, very comfortable with this. I feel like it's very easy just to predict what Satina's going to do here. They're going to keep trying to go for Jolteon and Hydrapple. And while Hydrapple has Recover, not so much Jolteon. And even they go in the Starmie there, I still have Alakazam. So defensively, unless I get fully paralyzed, such as that right there, I'm mostly in a really good position. 42 turns in, and that's another thing, I have Jolteon, so I always knew that Starmie would be fine. I even went for Pin Missile predicting that Hydrapple would be switching in. So now we're back to square one, basically. They go in the Starmie, I hit a Drill Peck, which gets a crit, doing a lot of damage. So I just decided to stay in, seeing what they do. I went for widescreen, so now Starmie is not too much of a threat here. I go for Weird, trying to whittle it down. Corviknight's paralyzed, but obviously he has rest, it's gonna be fine. I hit a critical Drill Peck, Starmie's not having a good time. I go for another Drill Peck, doing really good damage. They force to go into Jolteon, I get another Drill Peck in, getting some good chip. And I did kind of forget that Jolteon has rest, but overall not a big deal. They go back in the Hydrapple, I once again go for Body Slam. I finally get that paralysis, which is huge. I go back in the Corviknight, they recover. But, like, doesn't matter. Corviknight cannot move, unfortunate. I go back in the Rhydon. There's Jolteon. They are switching the Hydrapple yet again. But overall, this entire time, I just feel like I'm easily in control. Because what exactly does Sotina do here? They're forced to go into Hydrapple and Jolteon a lot of the time. I go in the Grimmsnarl, which I was doing that to predict, like, switching back in Hydrapple, because Grimmsnarl against a paralyzed Hydrapple, obviously that is really great. I lower Hydrapple's defense, I go back in the Corviknight, they go immediately into Starmie, which is honestly a pretty decent call. They hit her a Thunderbolt, doesn't get the paralysis, but now Grimmsnarl is paralyzed, which is unfortunate. I hit a Spirit Break, Starmie is really low, they recover, and I get a Thunder Wave off. Starmie being paralyzed is huge, and it helps me out a lot. Now Starmie is going to be lower because of Spirit Break, and they go into Chansey, but again, like, Spirit Break hurts a lot. Well, who needs that when you can rest with, well, rest? Now Grimmsnarl being healthy is also just a big deal, since offensively it does kind of check most of her team, since most of her team cannot beat such a powerful mixed attacker like that. Bonus points, since literally everything on her team is in fact a special attacker so far. There's Spirit Break, no crit, but Chansey's not having a good time, especially with a full paralysis. I go for rest, assuming she was going to switch, but she stayed in and got a crit. Even a crit's not doing that much. And I feel pretty comfortable here, since I know for a fact she's just going to use Soft Boiled. I'm not too scared about her, like, doing a lot of damage. I go for a rest again, and this time she's not getting that crit, so she is just not hurting me whatsoever. Starmie, I also felt comfortable with her just going for recover, so Grimmsnarl was just completely safe. It gets paralyzed again, but there's Spirit Break. Once again the stats are lowered, it's being reset, but Starmie is just taking a big beating. What exactly can Sotina do here? I really felt like there's not much. I go for a false surrender, predicting some sort of switch in, but no, she stayed in. Starmie is just, it got a crit, sure, but even with that crit there, I can just go for rest, and I feel pretty comfortable with it. There's Surf, not getting the crit. I go for rest. Even though I have less Pokemon, I still feel like there's, like, no way I can lose this. Because, like, what exactly does Sotina do here? She can try to stall with her Starmie, but it's not doing that much. The best thing she's doing is stalling and taking out Spirit Break power points. But as you can see, I have 15 left. I am good. I am not suffering too much. There's Spirit Break. A full paralysis could be a big deal. I predicted a switch in or just something else, but Rhydon I felt pretty good with. I go for Earthquake, not doing that much. But once again, we are back to square one. I go in the Corviknight. They're probably switching to Jolteon, so I switch out. There's the Jolteon. They go back into Hydrapple. I go into Grimmsnarl. They go into Jinx. I hit Spirit Break. It's an easy 2-hit KO. Jinx does not wake up. Grimmsnarl finishes off Jinx, so now Sotina has finally lost a Pokemon. And they went for, I don't know how I called this, but I somehow thought that they were going to stay in. So I paralyzed the Jolteon, which as you can imagine is a big deal. Rhydon easily tanks that Thunderbolt. There is Hydrapple, I hit an Earthquake. But still, this is fine. Even with Earthquake power points, I'm still doing pretty good. And Hydrapple actually stayed in, so I hit a Drill Peck, which did some pretty good damage to Hydrapple. I hit another Drill Peck, gets the crit, takes a Hydrapple. So suddenly, there was just nothing really stopping Rhydon anymore. There's Tauros, but I now have an entire team that can handle Tauros. Corviknight goes in, they go in the Jolteon, I can't move because I'm fully paralyzed. They go back into Tauros, I go into Rhydon. I go back into Grimmsnarl, because at this point, Grimmsnarl doesn't matter that much anymore. The only thing that matters is just preserving Rhydon, since Rhydon will just delete their Jolteon entirely. A critical Thunderbolt is pretty decent chip. They're fully paralyzed. I go for Substitute. They went for Double Kick, but they got the crit. So unfortunately that will break the sub. But I decided to go for another one, because I'm not really predicting anything other than Tauros being able to really hurt me. So there's Substitute. For some reason they stayed in, so Jolteon gets killed. They go into Chansey, but once again Earthquake is just, yeah, it's just gonna two-shot. So the sub's broken, but doesn't matter? I don't think so. I go for another one in case I can, you know, like, fish out a full paralysis. I don't get that, but I do get that for the second time, and now Chansey's taken out. Last is Starmie and Tauros, but Starmie is outsped, so that's taken out. Now it's just Tauros against 4 Pokemon. Now, Rhydon here, does good damage, but not enough, but it doesn't matter. Now, Jolteon on its own should be good enough, but I wanted to show that I have Slowbro. I was just really excited to show I had a Tauros-less team, which probably wasn't the best choice, considering Slowbro was my win con, which I do gotta say, is really funny. This entire team was built around Slowbro being the win con, but it didn't matter. I didn't even need to reveal it, really. Jolteon and Corviknight had this on their own. So I do kind of regret that, mostly because it did mean I didn't have much of a surprise factor for these other games. But now we have round 2. Lead Hypno versus Lead Gengar. I go straight for Explosion, but it doesn't actually kill Hypno, which I was kind of expecting it would. In comes Zapdos. I hit a Thunderbolt. Doesn't do that much to Jolteon. I go into Snorlax. Snorlax gets paralyzed. And they have Skeleturge, which did surprise me. I wasn't expecting Skeleturge use, but luckily I have Starmie here, so I can handle Skeleturge no problem. And whatever they switch into, I imagine I'm going to get free chip. There's a critical Surf, doing pretty good amount to Gourgeist, but Blizzard does not kill, which surprised me. And they even hit a critical Rock Slide, which is just pretty good chip damage all around. There's Surf, it does good damage, but I don't have Rhydon this time, which is a shame. I would really appreciate a Rhydon. And given how much damage that Gourgeist took, it would even have been able to do a lot. But Snorlax is fully paralyzed. I hate that. And I try to go for Rest, but it just doesn't work. Snorlax is taken out. And by the way, get used to really bad paralysis luck. Due to how bad the situation is, I have to go into Tauros. Tauros gets paralyzed. They go for Explosion. It almost kills Tauros. Hypno, Revenge kills easily. This is just looking really bad so far. Zapdos can kill, so that's fine, but what do I do against the rest of this team? I'm forced to just let Zapdos get paralyzed. I tried to go for Agility, but I'm fully paralyzed. I get hit with a Special Drop. Special is lowered. It's just going from bad to worse. There's another Special Drop, that's nice. Gets hit with a Seismic Toss, which kills. I go back into Zapdos, trying to get Agility up again. Another Special Drop. It's just going abysmally. I try to go for Paralysis because that's my only real shot at this point. There's Tropec, no crit. Psychic gets the crit itself though, so that's nice. My last Pokemon is Mimikyu, which is not showing for some reason. Oh, okay, there we go. So, Mimikyu unfortunately does get paralyzed, so my chances of winning this are just 0 basically. Because once again, I wasn't paralyzed for a full turn. And you can probably see in the chat I wasn't very happy. To be honest, I hate Paralysis in Gen 1 way more than I hate Freezing and Sleep. But you can tell me in the comments which one you hate the most. And just like AJ said, Paralysis is in fact something else. Alright, now round 3. Or not round 3. We did have another round, me and Sotina. But that one I did end up winning. But to be honest, it wasn't really anything special. Now this one, Rishikata vs. Ibuki, I don't have any background information about. So let's just get on to that. I'm excited to see how this is gonna go. Because both these are pretty good players. Which is pretty surprising considering one of them is a newcomer. But still, like, good for Ibuki that she already made a name for herself. Despite being a Danganronpa fan. But we can, you know, we can fix that later. There we have our signature Lapras. And Lapras handled that surf pretty easily. There goes a Thunderbolt, which does decent chip to Starmie, but even better with a Paralysis. No crit, but now Lapras is Holy shit, they named their Lapras Lapass. That is awesome. That's actually just awesome. That is a great nickname. Ibuki, you're just the GOAT. But here's Corviknight going for Substitute and Sword Stance. I've seen a lot of people set up on Corviknight. I don't understand why though. Because you don't really beat Corviknight 1v1, do you? I don't think so. And even with Sword Stance, it's not doing that good of damage. Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand it. But there's the light screen, because obviously Rescato was predicting they were going to switch out. But they didn't. And you're forced to go for rest. So I guess you can get another Sword Stance off, but you're not doing significant damage. It's like, look at that. It didn't even matter because you got a crit. There's another Rock Slide, only doing 44%, not even half. Well, that's taken out. You go in the Delphox, this easily should be able to kill. And you go for Fire Spin. A pretty smart move. And honestly, yeah, just stay in, because like, you're probably going to kill once you hit with Fire Blast. And there's a critical Fire Spin. Yeah, that's definitely necessary. Starmie is taken out. Then you go in the Zapdos. You miss Hypnosis, which is unfortunate. I think this is why Cyber was talking about how it's probably not worth it going for, like, Zapdos when you have a Delphox. It's just not worth the gamble. But there's Fire Blast missing. Unfortunate. You just decided to go on the Starmie. I can understand that. It's probably just statistically better for you than risking missing Fire Blast, considering Fire Blast doesn't have a lot of power points to begin with. Starmie heals, and Alakazam goes for Seismic Toss. I don't know which one of these has the better matchup here. I guess? Or, I don't know. Like, there's the crit. The crit's pretty nice. Zam is healing, but Starmie also has healing. So it's really anyone's game. But if Starmie's fully paralyzed, that will be a big deal, but that didn't happen. Both are probably just going to keep going at this for a while. And I'm highly considering putting this on fast, but I don't know yet. Okay, there we go. They went in the Lapras. Lapras has bulk, sure, but it's just taking too much of a beating. But not for this Lapras, it's taking a rest. She still has one more in her, like the GOAT. But, okay, that's kind of surprising. That was a huge gamble, and why, though? I do not get that whatsoever. Okay, so Lapras kind of just died for no reason. But there's Psychic, you don't get the special drop. Zam is fully paralyzed. You try going for more special drops, still not getting it. Seismic Toss is good damage here. And I don't think... Yeah, you don't have rest on this. There's Corviknight. Now, switching in the Corviknight was a huge risk, but it ended up working out decently well. Back in the Alakazam you go. Fire Blast is legitimately good damage, but you can recover that off very easily. There's Psychic. You get the special drop finally, but there's no reason why you can't just switch out. Rhydon gets hit with a critical Fire Blast, which is... Holy crap! I don't know what surprised me more. How much Fire Blast did, or the burn afterwards. And going for sub while burned is a bold choice. You go for Earthquake, it does about nothing, but since you are killed, you did deny Starmie valuable healing. They go in the Jolteon. Jolteon takes that Thunderbolt very easily. Back in the Delphox you go. This Delphox is putting in a lot of work, like holy crap. Zam is still going to keep doing Zam things. It's kind of hard to comment at this point because you've seen this before in Gen 1, Psychics versus Psychics, but that critical Fire Blast finally takes out the Alakazam. You needed that, holy crap. Delphox is taken out, but it's already done so much work. You go in the Starmie, or not Starmie, like you switch out of Tauros, which is interesting. Because I'm pretty sure Hyper Beam would have killed there, unless I'm wrong. But that's a critical Thunderbolt. That is huge. But why aren't you healing? Interesting. But Rescato takes advantage of the, of that, of being paralyzed. They go back into Zapdos. You hit Thunderbolt getting a crit. That's huge. You hit another Thunderbolt. Does not get the paralysis. Or not the paralysis, the crit. But there you go. That's taken care of. You go into Tauros. Earthquake does not kill, and Tauros does get paralyzed. You hit Thunderbolt, you don't get the crit unfortunately, but there's Body Slam taking care of that. The last Pokemon is your own Tauros. You hit Body Slam, you do good. You hit your own Body Slam, does not get the kill. You go for Hyper Beam, that does get the crit even though it wasn't needed. Last is Corviknight when it's weak. You go for Blizzard, left at 1 HP. Corviknight does heal. But now you can just kind of spam Blizzards. Like, you need a crit to do significant damage, but honestly, this is still anyone's game. There's Blizzard, not doing that much. You go for Light Screen. Now it really is just like a do or die moment. There's another rest. Oh boy. You just go for Body Slam at this point because you are pretty low on Blizzard power points. So you're forced to do this, unfortunately. You go for Blizzard, you don't get the crit, you don't get the freeze. Drill Peck does good damage. You go for another Blizzard, and you finally get the freeze. Holy crap, that was so close. Like, Jesus Christ. I don't think there's much I need to say there. Just like you see in chat. Both of them played pretty well, and yeah, that was just a good match. Now, we only have 3 left, and if I remember correctly, these 3 will be it'll just be like a match between Cyber DJ and AJ. These 2 are OGs, playing since Season 1, and as you can tell from Cyber specifically mentioning AJ, I'm pretty confident that he is happy to have AJ back. We have lead Gourgeist versus lead Starmie. I've seen so much lead Gourgeist, I'm surprised it's as good as it is, but I suppose it makes sense. You go into Swoobat, going for Explosion. Already AJ playing this pretty well. You go back into Starmie, they go into Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl will go for Hyper Beam, which unfortunately does not get the kill. Oh, that was so close too. Starmie is now back to full health, but at the very least, you do manage to paralyze it. Okay, Zach's mascot is a great name, because for those of you who don't know, Zachantheus, every time he uses Slowbro, it does not go well for him. He always gets, like, crit by Thunderbolt and stuff like that. I'm surprised you switched out. Oh wait, no, it's with Hypnosis, not Rest. Okay, never mind, that makes sense. You go for Amnesia. Spirit Break will be pretty annoying here, unfortunately, but you could be able to power through it, potentially. But it depends. You go for Rest. Honestly, I probably would just gone straight for an attack. Because I'm pretty sure with Ice Beam and then another boosted Ice Beam, while weaker than the first, if I had to guess, would be enough to take out Grimmsnarl. But Body Slam also does pretty good. Hurts a fair bit there. You go for Rest, because luckily you are faster. And you would be able to wake up in time, I'm pretty sure. So there's Spirit Break again. Snorlax will wake up. I think you probably should just go for the kill, though, if you had to ask me. But Resting is also good, but it's also just kind of... You're just waiting for an inevitable crit, which I just don't think you want to risk. They switch out the Tauros, because I'm pretty sure AJ did realize, like, the danger he was in if he stayed in. And that critical Body Slam is really good. In comes Starmie, hitting a... Okay, that was kind of... Yeah, that was good. But, like, it didn't work out. You do get a free heal, and now Starmie's faster than Grimmsnarl, which is not good. But Grimmsnarl does survive, hits a Spirit Break. That's actually pretty relevant. But you miss Hyper Beam again. That is so sad. But at least they're fully paralyzed, so it's not unwinnable. You're just trying to annoy the Starmie as much as possible before you're inevitably taken out. And when you are taken out, you will probably have something else in the back to take care of Starmie. So there's a Spirit Break, you might be able to win. Holy crap, Grimmsnarl managed to actually do it. I'm surprised, but good for him. There's Snorlax, and there's Tauros. Body Slam does decent damage here, and you probably just, yeah, you just go in for the damage. Tauros is not healing itself, no one here is using Rest. You have your own Tauros, and I'm pretty sure Hyper Beam would have killed. Yeah, so I'm surprised you didn't go for that. With Tauros taken out, you go into Delphox, you go for Earthquake, not getting the crit unfortunately, but they miss Fire Blast, that's huge. They're forced to stack their Grimmsnarl, and let's see what else AJ has. They have their own Starmie, that's really good. But Apparently we have a new Chansey. Not the old Chansey, it's new Chansey. And it misses Sing. And surprisingly, you staying with Delphox? Delphox is now paralyzed. Seismic Toss is a really good chip there, and it's fully paralyzed again. You go for Soft Boiled. Surprised you don't go for the kill, but I don't think it's a big deal. Because there, you just go for Seismic Toss, and you kill Delphox. The last Pokemon is Gengar. And both Gengar and Starmie are not the Pokemon you want to see when they have a healthy Chansey in the back. Even worse when you know for a fact that they have... Okay, going for Explosion was a big gamble, and I do not think it was worth it when you're so low on Pokemon. Your only hope now is a Freeze, and you're probably not getting it. So I think Cyber DJ just definitively won this. Okay, there's the Freeze. So I guess you might still be in the race? Wait, I forgot that Tauros was so weak. Never mind, that was actually pretty relevant. Okay, I'm sorry, AJ. I was not familiar with your game. There's Surf. Checking again. Yeah, so it's probably just Surf or Blitz Surf Starmie. Interesting. But it worked out, because they were taken out. Alright, let's move on, alright? We now have, I think it's going to be round 2 between these two. Yes. Let's see how this one goes. Weed Starmie versus Weed Gengar. Gengar is immediately paralyzed, and AJ just tries to go for that damage immediately. I can respect it because a crit will just completely kill, and now Starmie's put to sleep. They go on the Gorguys predicting an explosion, but they do not go for the explosion. They do stay in with Gengar though, which is interesting. Both of them go for Psychic against each other, but AJ just wanted to hit it a little bit more. There's another Psychic, not doing that much, but Psychic on Gengar is the main reason why it's a good way away. Otherwise, Gorguys normally loses. You go to a Uniquist, which is an interesting choice when they have a Gorguys on field. Nightshade does decent damage. You probably should switch out, which is exactly what they do. Gengar does not care about Razor Leaf. So now we have Delphox. Delphox gets hit with the Psychic, and does get the special drop, but do you go for Explosion? We don't know, and it doesn't matter. Gengar's trapped in Fire Spin. You switch in the Mimikyu. You go on the Cloyster. That's strangely a really good idea. Now, you go for Explosion immediately, but the gamble does not pay off. Starmie survives, and Cyber decides to stack their Starmie in order to paralyze Tauros, which I think is definitely a great trade. You go for Play Rough. You get the crit, does way more damage than anyone would expect. No attack drop, but it doesn't matter. Play Rough, once again, is doing a lot of damage here. Tauros is probably being taken out, and yes, there it is, being KO'd. You had Corviknight? Huh, I don't even know what to say about that. But there's a free switch in the Delphox. And what does AJ do now? The entire team can just be sort of super killed by a Delphox. You go for a Fire Blast predicting a Corviknight switch in, but AJ stayed in with Runerigus. And I do think going to Tauros is the right call. Cyber DJ probably has the idea now that, like, you're probably winning with Delphox, because this team, once Runerigus is taken care of, probably gets killed. There's the crit. Bye-bye Runerigus. Back in the Corviknight you go. You switch into Delphox. You eat a Drill Peck very easily. And now you just... yeah, anything can kill this Gengar at this point. So you go for Mystical Fire. That's taken out. They go into Chansey. You go into Corviknight, but Corviknight's not put to sleep. So this is truly just a game that Cyber DJ has definitively won. Unless you miss Fire Spin. But to be honest, now that Delphox is put to sleep, it's kind of even worse. These two can now just try to spam Ice Beams, see which one gets frozen first. If I had to guess, or I don't need to guess, we now have an answer. Mimikyu eats that Ice Beam pretty easily though. You go for Play Rough, getting a crit, which definitely helps out a lot. Going for Thunder Wave, now you're forced to heal. Mimikyu is fully paralyzed. Ice Beam does not get the kill. And now Mimikyu rests off the damage. That is huge. A critical Ice Beam is also pretty huge though. That's definitely a good chip. And a... oh my goody golly. Okay, well that just happened. I don't even know what to say about that. In comes Corviknight. Corviknight eats a Hyper Beam very easily. And I think you can have... Oh, yeah, it's Fire Blast. Okay, neat. Well, there goes Corviknight. It's just Chansey versus the world. Hyper Beam does not kill, unfortunately. You go for the kill, though. No, you heal. I think that's definitely the better option. You go for another Soft Boiled, which I think probably wasn't the right choice. There's Ice Beam. You go into your own Delphox, which does wake up. Oh my gosh. I did not realize how close that was. AJ... Or not AJ. Wow. That was so close. I don't even know what to say about that. Cyber was so... That was like a 40% chance to just lose the entire tournament. Okay then. Well, let's go on for this last one. We have Swoobat versus Snorlax. Snorlax goes in the Kingler, which is an interesting choice. Super Fang does good chip, but Kingler goes straight for Swords Dance. Psychic does not kill Kingler, but now it does. Okay, that was weird. I don't even know why that even happened. But now we have Runerigus versus Swoobat. Swoobat can go for Super Fang, which means that sooner or later Runerigus will just go for Rest. If it even needs to, because like, each Super Fang becomes significantly less valuable than the other. I don't think that matters. I think Cyber just wanted a chance to switch into Snorlax. Snorlax goes for Amnesia. You're not really scared of Runerigus. You just go for as many Amnesias as you want. They go for Amnesia as well, but this is definitely an exchange that Snorlax can win. There's another Earthquake, there's another Ice Beam, getting the crit, which barely does not kill Runerigus. But I think that's debatably better, because now you know they're probably going to go for Rest. They didn't. They're just trying to go for all that damage, which is interesting. I guess they're trying to fish for a crit, which you're just not going to get. Runerigus is taken out. And now you have Grimmsnarl going for Spirit Break, but at this point I think it might be too little too late. Ice Beam still hits pretty hard. Not as hard as it could have because of that crit, ironically enough. But a Spirit Break does kill Swoobat, so I think Cyber was right to switch out. Hypnosis misses, but then you only go for Spirit Break, so you have another shot at it, but you miss it again. It's okay, you have another shot. Third time's the charm? Yes, it is. But they wake up immediately. Are you kidding me? That is crazy. You go into Jolteon. They go into Starmie, and not the thing you want to switch into. Thunderbolt does good damage there. You sack off your Snorlax, which is fair enough. And now you go into Delphox. You go for Psychic, which definitely does decent damage, but not enough. Delphox is taken out. You go into Jolteon. Jolteon hits Thunderbolt, but doesn't get a crit. Earthquake does not kill though, so Jolteon is still doing fine. And Snorlax is taken out. The last Pokemon is Skeleturge, or at least the last one revealed. Torch Song does not get the kill, unfortunately. You go into Chansey, you don't want to sack off your Jolteon, which makes sense. They go for Sing, which does hit. This is actually getting very scary very quickly. Now you can just build up those Torch Songs to your heart's content. But Chansey wakes up. You go for Seismic Toss. Skeleturge is getting pretty weak. You go for another Torch Song. Fire Blast probably would have killed. And Chansey did its job at least. It's now put Skeleturge in a range where it can get revenge killed by Tauros. So there's a crit. The crit definitely mattered. They're probably going to go into Starmie, but it doesn't matter. You can just waste your Tauros because Jolteon is your win con. You go into Grimmsnarl, once again fully paralyzed, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Tauros goes for Body Slam. Grimmsnarl isn't moving. You go for another Body Slam, you get the crit. Grimmsnarl is taken out. The last Pokemon is Starmie, and if you do literally any damage with Tauros, Jolteon's gonna revenge kill easily. You go for Recover, but you're just not gonna win this exchange. You go for Psychic, you get good damage in, but it doesn't matter. You are in the damage range to where Jolteon's gonna kill you. And that's just how it's gonna be, unfortunately. There goes Tauros, and now you have a very weak Jolteon that kills Starmie. GG. Very close match there in losers. I know there are some matches that I should probably still go over in losers bracket, but I think I need to. I'm going to. I think tomorrow, maybe today, just depends. I'll have my match with Zastly. That'll be the next one. And then after the winners bracket video, I think I'm gonna do a video watching some losers bracket games. But I'll see you later. Until next time, this is Groundback, and I look forward to hearing from you.